Greetings, superior beings. Greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race. Our common enemy is death. Welcome on Try Something.Vegetarian on YouTube. I'm Ulrich Hofman, and this is the broadcast US attacks oil tankers and blames Iran. Perhaps I'll change it into US attacks cancer oil tankers and blames Iran. Two flags basically, a black and a white flag. False flag attack, endgame prophecy. And I have to come true. False flag attack, endgame come true, question mark. So that's the title of the broadcast. Of course, there are many people that claim that this would happen, and I've also warned 2 months ago that a false flag attack on an Iranian oil vessel, cancer oil vessel, may take place. And the question is, of course, how Russia responds. So they have to have an agreement with Putin, and of course they won't have one because their goal is a planned world war. And the question is this a false flag attack, and who did it then? Mossad or someone else? Have they planned more of these false flag attacks? I can't believe what I'm seeing here. Where did you get this? Anyway, yeah, so in this broadcast I plan not so much to read out what they are saying in their controlled mainstream media, but more to shine a light on, or expose, if you will, the mainstream media lies. In the fact that this is a planned world war to destroy the Al-Aqsa temple and build a third temple in Jerusalem. 2 temples wasn't enough. The donkey is not a conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy fact. Or not. I don't know if it's also an American saying. In the Netherlands they have saying about donkeys. Een ezel stoot zich in het algemeen niet tweemaal aan dezelfde steen. A donkey in general doesn't bump twice into the same rock or whatever. Yeah. Also, I recently did a broadcast about Trump being a crypto Jew, and Angela Merkel as well. So you can check it out online. So there are 3 reasons people believe Trump is a crypto Jew. And one is that the Trumps changed their name. It used to be Trump, a German Jewish name, and they changed it to Trump according to sources online. That was also published on mainstream media, on PNR radio, so that's how I knew about it also. But other reasons, well, basically both his parents died in a Jewish nursing home. And if they were not Jewish, how is that possible? And how can his brother join a Jewish fraternity that wasn't admitting people of other faiths yet? It all doesn't add up. And I covered crypto Judaism in that broadcast as well. You can find here on this channel. And of course, I don't blame the Jews, but the Jesuits and Masons that have infiltrated governments around the world. As I've made clear in all my broadcasts. And of course they have planned a population reduction to 500 million. And to rule the world from Jerusalem, they've planned a global government, a Neuordnung, Third Reich, a totalitarian, satanic Luciferian global government basically. So yeah, we can take a look at all these things. Let's see what I have pre-selected here. We could also read some. The Iranian tanker attacks. Well, they were claiming, they were reporting a lot that they thought that these attacks could be Iranian attacks, and now they still have the same intelligence, but now they're claiming that they're convinced they did it. Sort of comparable to the country, the state of Iraq possessing chemical weapons, accusation used as a false pretense to invade these countries. So of course, yeah, US funding terrorists, or rather the CIA, so it's wrong to blame all Americans, all Iranians, etc. So we should not engage in this like the mainstream media does, not to choose sides and come up with solutions and not just expose them, but also offer the solutions. So an agreement with Putin is what I say. If they have that, then a world war cannot occur over Iran. But since it may be the gold the Jesuits and Mason, it may be unpreventable, because all they have to do is push a button to create their endgame world war. And of course, I've reported about it before, there's now a video game called World War III. So CNN Politics reports US seizes on tanker attacks to up the stakes with Iran. June 14th, 2019, that's today. On the Roman calendar. So I could also check the Jewish calendar in relation to this, if there are any interesting days. Tisha B'Av or whatever, when is that this year? Tisha B'Av 2019 will begin in the evening of Saturday 10th of August. And we're now at 14th of June. So after July, basically, we had August. So that's about 2 months. Away from us. So the world war could start the 23rd already. And things I wrote about false flag attack. This was when I already had made the film All 28 EU membership states reject Israeli sovereignty over the Golan and slam Trump's proclamation. And this was reported 2 months ago. All 28 EU membership states 2 months ago. And it only has 3 views, so it's clear that my channel is being blocked by the algorithms. Let's see if I do this. So yeah, I also covered a part of the Talmud, which can be compared to jihad, basically. The top Shebegoyim, Harog. Even the best of the non-Jews must be killed during wartime, covered by viciousbabushka.com and the other website that I covered. So there are Jewish people that claim that only during wartime, like there are Muslims that claim jihad is only during wartime, when jihad has been declared in these countries. if there would be a world war, perhaps they would do that. And Israel also has the Samson option, so European countries may also be targets, etc. It's also covered on my channel. So I've heard many times that the conspiracy to reduce the global population is not a conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy fact. And these are other interesting broadcasts worthy of more views. Global microwave radiation, main cause of climate change. Ban 5G, cancer, cell phone radiation. Use scalar. 26,000 scientists oppose 5G rollout. Destroy 5G, not people. 5G causes man-made global warming. And a Dutch article review. 10.000 wetenschappers roepen op om te stoppen met 5G. Vernietig 5G, niet mensen. Will Iran oil exports trigger World War III? I reported 1 week ago. China, India illegally sanctioned by Trump. Will they comply? So why are these illegal sanctions? Because they don't have evidence that proves that they have even got one nuclear weapon, that they would be supposedly in violation of the NPT, Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. And that's why Trump did away with that treaty, because he knew they were not violating it. And they want that world war to get rid of the Al-Aqsa and build their third temple. I could go into the third temple coin that I've shown in several broadcasts. I have the golden version, which is just $1.33 or something like that. So yeah, this could very well be an attack on the cancer oil vessel by Mossad, but I think it's probably some type of Iranian terrorists that they have funded, or they say that these are advanced attacks. It could also be the US, of course, false flag attack. They do the attack themselves and blame what they consider their enemy. It's very simple, basic strategy, war tactics. This looks really real. I don't know if it's real. I got this picture from some other website. Don't know if I put it on it. Netanyahu attacks oil tankers in Oman. Well, I doubt that. I think they're always the ones to tell you where enemies are, but they're never the ones to fight and to die, and they're just trying to play everybody out against each other to benefit from it themselves. War, war. What is it good for? Absolutely money. So you can always ask who benefits, etc. Who knew? And so they can prophesize things because they make them happen. They orchestrate them also with their synthetic telepathy machine, remote torture weapons. They can extort any leader. And yeah, the book quotes in Georgia Guidestones prove that it's not a conspiracy theory, but a conspiracy fact, beyond any reasonable doubt. And people are not going to pay $1 million for these Georgia Guidestones if they're not serious about it. Or, what I thought is perhaps it's just a test, to test who would help with their population reduction, and then on Judgment Day they are taken care of by the scalar weapon, the voice of God weapon, That of course may have brain mapped everyone that knows exactly what you think right now. Yeah, so let's get some pipe. This looks pretty real, I think. Ooh, they don't do that. Okay, start again. I don't know how they did that, but I think I dragged this over here. Okay. Oh, this one is first, of course. In Europe, etc., they usually read from left to right. Of course, there are a couple of countries where they read from right to left. Well, it looks very real. If it's a fake CGI photoshopped image, then they did a good job, I think. So, of course, I'm not claiming that this is real. This is just some internet image. So let me know what you all think in the comments. Fake or real? And people can Skype me now. Prologic999 on Skype. Netanyahu can Skype me if he thinks this is outrageous or whatever. Prologic999. And I'm not on Twitter. Twitter quitter. Because Trump is on Twitter. So why would you go on Twitter? Anyway. There are much nicer ways to waste your time. Masturbation, getting a radiological water filter and storable food. Doing real stuff for universal peace. I'm picking my peace pipe right now as I speak. And also, while I'm silent, for universal peace. So yeah, probably no one will find this broadcast. So I can let you all in on a secret. Another thing is, I don't know if we are allowed to, but I think no one questions whether this attack on this cancer oil vessel is real or fake, basically. If it's in the mainstream media, they all think, oh wow, that's real. And we're not allowed to doubt that, of course. Because then we are the terrorists, not the Iranians. And of course, the people that spread the depleted uranium are the do-gooders. The depleted uranium spreaders or droppers are God's people, and you all are not God's people. If you don't believe in the entity, then you can feel the rest for yourselves. No, I'm just, this is all nonsense, basically, probably made by the neural network to play you out against me, so I don't like it. And it's a good thing that I can just say that, because synthetic telepathy is real. It's, for me, it's also an adventure what the next idea will be, what if it's gonna give me a good idea or just erase good ideas. I think that's the only thing it's doing. When I'm on a roll, then basically it starts erasing my thoughts. So those are the moments that I really had something interesting to say, I think, in my broadcasts, which you can all still download until they're erased by the EMP, of course. I mean, it's really obvious, isn't it? Also, that absence of the controlled opposition people reporting about this Third World War over Iran. Now it's really gonna happen, they're silent, you know. And I'm not that sure that it's gonna happen. Of course, I just phrase myself in this manner, express myself this way to make people prepare. Also with the shelter, so you have to have something below the blast wave. And theoretically you only have to dig a little ditch, and then you could put a fridge or refrigerator in it, or some other box. Perhaps stone on wheels could be... I had that somewhere, I made something like that. But then I moved to another place. So most people think it's not gonna happen because of the normalcy bias. Because nuclear Armageddon never occurred before, they think it's never gonna happen. And perhaps they are right, I hope they're right, of course. I don't want a world war either. I don't have an underground city, I don't have anything to benefit, only to lose from a world war and a fake messiah. And I think everybody does. That they are fooling themselves as well. Prayer is misprogramming yourself with lies. Prayer is brainwashing yourself with lies, if you prefer. And religion is an abomination. Religion is an illusion, to quote Freud. And religion can also create extremists. The pedo-incest Bible and the pedo-incest Quran often are an inspiration for these people, such as Adolf Hitler and Brenton Tarrant and Breivik, etc., though they might pretend it's not true. Supposedly Breivik and Tarrant both had connections, or they wrote that in their manifestos or whatever, connections with the Knights Templar. And is anybody calling for an investigation into the Knights Templar, into secret societies? I think I'm the only one doing that, just about, for calling for arresting all members of secret societies. And then the ones that don't get life imprisonment, or the death chair, basically. The death chair. Okay. So, yeah. Javad Zarif. Let's see if he wrote something about Mossad. Javad Zarif, June 5th. On twitter.com, the hashtag B_teams boy who cries wolf is crying once again. This time Mossad is fabricating intelligence about Iran's involvement in sabotage in Fujairah. I've warned of, quote, accidents, unquote, and false flags. We know what happens when you believe their lies. We've been here before, haven't we? So I think Javad Zarif is not so much indicating that it's funny, with his statement, but that he thinks it's a false flag attack, that they want to pin this on Iran, and that it's premeditated to create their third Jesuit World War. So without any evidence, I mean, almost a goal is not a goal, it doesn't count. So if you don't have evidence that proves it beyond any reasonable doubt, then they might claim you are instigating a world war, you're creating a world war deliberately. And not many people would go along with that claim that Iran did it without evidence, unless they're remotely tortured with remote torture weapons, which is the case. I think perhaps that's also the reason people cannot watch my broadcasts. Besides the programming by the mainstream media, which is more powerful than most people believe, I think, combined with the hypnosis done at night with the synthetic telepathy machine. So it's possible everybody is totally brain controlled, like remotely controlled robots. And they do what they're programmed to do exactly at the time they're programmed to do that. And if you were hypnotized at night, you wouldn't remember that. If it was done successfully, you would ridicule that truth and you would think it's totally ludicrous and absurd, etc. But it is possible that they label people that talk about these things as insane. That's their technique to handle the undesirables. They simply claim that you're mentally ill, or that they are mentally ill, basically. If you talk about, or if they talk about synthetic telepathy and remote torture weapons that they were tortured with, etc. Mossad oil tanker. So this is Google News. Oman attack Iran is the immediate but unlikely suspect. Haaretz, 3 hours ago. No, I don't think so. I think they're lying, that they have no evidence. And you can never claim Iran did it. It's wrong to blame the Iranian people for something a couple of terrorists did, possibly Mossad or American special operation forces, etc., under the Iranian flag. Of course, I've thought about it. Why would anybody have a pirate flag? I mean, you could have the flag of your enemy or some other country flag. Perhaps it's also illegal to use another flag, I'd have to check. But on these vessels, I mean. Well, perhaps to instill fear into the people on the boat that they're going to do next. And I bet that really happens in open seas as well, that you have pirates. The thing is that these boats are all hundreds of miles removed from one another and they can't see each other, though they nowadays have radio. So that's one of the enemies of the pirates, I guess, YouTube. Am I right? Oman attack Iran is the... Oh yeah, I already read that. Well, let's see what... perhaps we shouldn't look at it. Perhaps I should only look at my own writings. Let go of the mainstream media that they control. Obviously, Project Mockingbird is real. So you could argue it's better not to read it. So there I demonstrate that it won't do a search unless I deselect the text. So now it searches on the word sink, not think. Iran, there are two ways they could create their planned world war to impose their totalitarian global government. One, ISIS attacks. Yeah, that's another false flag some people have predicted. Another false flag, ISIS attack. And they think ISIS is Mossad creation. And their leader, Bakr al-Baghdadi, is a Mossad agent, real name Shimon Elliott, and of course also the 9/11 attacks masterminded by Bin Laden, supposedly. Bin Laden is also a CIA asset agent by the name of Tim Osman. So you have Shimon Elliott and Tim Osman. And two, a false flag type of event comparable to the sinking of the Lusitania. False flag 1, 1915, sinking the Lusitania, YouTube. CIA-funded terrorist attacks are usually not seen as false flag attacks. The Committee of 300 are also involved in funding terrorists and attacks, so check them out online as well. They are the subversive body of the Club of Rome. So with these strikes, Israel has the Iron Dome, so there are pictures of that Iron Dome boarding of these strikes on Israel. And in the retaliation, many people get killed all the time. So we see a lot more deaths on the side of the people in Gaza and Syria, Iraq, etc. Okay, let's scroll down further to see what my most recent writings are about. Most recent. Speech errors are made by them with their synthetic telepathy machine to make you laugh at me instead of prepare and do the right thing, basically. I think that's clear. They want 7 billion people dead, so 93% chance they want you dead as well. Clear from the book quotes and Georgia Guidestones. So check it out if you haven't done so already. I want to read the chlorine part again. The chlorine dream. Read this whole thing. It's not that much.
Unite all countries to bestow maximum fulfillment upon humanity. Peaceinspace.blogs.com updated. Model Statute and World Treaty Conference banning 5G, due directed energy and neurotic mind control weapons. The 5G infrastructure would pose a threat to our planet's atmosphere. Network implementation will require the deployment of many, short lifespan satellites via suborbital rockets propelled by hydrocarbon rocket engines. According to this 2010 California study, launching too many of these babies will vomit enough black carbon into the atmosphere to pollute global atmospheric conditions, affecting distribution of ozone and temperature. Worse, solid-state rocket exhaust contains chlorine, an ozone-destroying chemical. How can any government seriously concerned about climate change allow for this? Stop 5G.whynotnews.eu. It is well known cancer cell phone radiation, microwaves, heat up the Earth's atmosphere as well. Cancer-causing microwave ovens are an offense, it's true.
So it's not too late to prevent 5G, as long as they haven't rolled it out yet. And it's a weapon of mass destruction to annihilate humanity, some claim. And think about it, they are right. 1 in 2 of you get cancer now. Steve Jobs died of cancer. And still they think cancer cell phone radiation cannot be the cause, though it's a reproducible test you can do at home that shows that people that use a cancer cell phone for over 90 seconds have these lumping red blood cells, a symptom known to doctors as rouleau. And they pretend it's harmless, and mercury that makes your brain disappear literally is harmless as well, because first they're going after your brains. They want to dumb down the global population, to reduce the global population to a more controllable number, and they've indicated that magic number is 500 million, not 600 million.
Cancer microwave ovens are best known for heating up matter, mainly food. Unsafety standards make people believe otherwise. It is known the microwaves heat up the air and our body temperature and contribute to global warming. Hirata A., Matsuyama S., Shizawa T. 2000. Temperature rises in the human eye exposed to M waves in the frequency range 0.6 to 6 GHz. IEEE Trans, Electroman, Compat. 42, 386 393. Does anybody know how much the UMTS, GSM, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi LANs heat up our environment exactly? By how many degrees Celsius? Stop UMTS.nl. If it controls our minds, no one of us would attempt to switch it off. In theory, synonyms for anarchy: chaos, confusion, disorder, hostility, nihilism, rebellion, riot, turmoil, unrest, disorganization, disregard, misrule, revolution, mob rule, non-government, reign of terror. Antonyms for anarchy: calm, harmony, method, order, organization, peace, system, lawfulness, rule. Israel is building a nuclear weapon, is that correct? Annex nation, GGG. 75% of us are mulatto, 25% of us are black and white. Because India and China each contain 4 times the amount of citizens the US has, 75% of all humans on the planet Earth are mulatto. Top 3 countries in the world by population, 2018, 1. China 1.4 billion, 2. India 1.4 billion, 3. US 327 million. It's very hard to find any statistics showing what percentage of us is mulatto, black and white with Google. It's like Google wants to hide these factual statistics for some reason. Israel becoming safe haven for pedophiles with laws that allow any Jews to legally return. Activists claim. Jewish Community Watch says 32 pedophiles moved from countries around the world to Israel over past decade. Activists fear Israel is becoming a safe haven for pedophiles thanks to the country's unique law of return for the world's Jewish people. A Jewish person from anywhere across the globe can be fast-tracked for citizenship in Israel, as well as their spouse, children and grandchildren. A 1954 amendment to the law bans a person with a criminal past, likely to endanger public welfare, but campaigners say sex abusers are slipping through the net. Independent.co.uk, November 30, 2016. Global warming is real, where the environment heating and cancer-causing 5G is produced but not used. Destroy 5G, prevent World War III. Among the 2019 Montreux Bilderberg participants we find, Kissinger, Henry A., USA, Chairman, Kissinger Associates Incorporated; Kushner, Jared, USA, Senior Advisor to the President, the White House Petraeus, David H., USA, Chairman, KKR Global Institute. He served as Director of the Central Intelligence Agency from September 6, 2011, until his resignation on November 9, 2012. Rutt, Mark, NLD, Prime Minister Bilderbergmeetings.org, Pompeo and Kushner head to Bilderberg meeting, a mysterious gathering of the global elite. WashingtonPost.com. Pompeo is not on the list, so that means the Bilderbergmeetings.org list is not complete. Soros, Rockefeller and Rothschild are not on the list. If you're not on the list, you are not coming in. Global warfare. We're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years: Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan and Iran. Democracy Now! March 2, 2007, Polish acts of atrocity against the German minority in Poland, 2nd edition with important addenda 5.0 out of 5 stars. Amazon.com, Moderatorium. Is ISIS going to do another false flag attack in the US like the WTC attack to kick off the Third Jesuit World War? What do the following events have in common? 9/11 World Trade Center, Pentagon London subway bombings, 7/75, Oklahoma City bombing, the Estonia catastrophe, 852 dead, Norway Oslo attack, 77 dead, Sandy Hook Elementary School Aurora, Colorado, Batman shooting Taft Union High School, Jan 10, 2013, Boston Marathon, April 15, 2013. Answer: live terror drills were conducted, same scenario, same day, either on location or very close. The media ignores this completely. They are terror drills that went live. This is no conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. Facebook.com/citizens.action.network. This is no conspiracy, it is fact. Was changed by me into, this is no conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. Because the text "this is no conspiracy, it is fact" suggests that conspiracy facts do not exist, and, of course, they do exist. Twitter.com/#/falseflag. Laying equals N. With all the funding they have given terrorists to destabilize countries to steal their cancer oil, how can we expect anything else but another false flag attack? The illusion has to be kept going for a number of reasons: to have an excuse for their Third Jesuit World War and to reduce the global population. To give the government more power and the people less. And there are 2 ways they could create their planned world war to impose their totalitarian global government. 1. ISIS attacks in the US and other countries around the world. 2. A false flag type of event comparable to the sinking of the Lusitania. False flag 1, 1915 sinking the Lusitania. YouTube. CIA-funded terrorist attacks are usually not seen as false flag attacks. The Committee of 300 are also involved in funding terrorists and attacks, so check them out online as well. They are the subversive body of the Club of Rome. Taiwan Tattoo Tattoo. Israel strikes Syria after rockets fired at Golan Heights. News.com 4 hours ago. Statism. The ridiculous idea that a bunch of idiots who have driven this country $21 trillion in debt are more qualified to run your life than you are. Facebook.com/citizens.action.network. Who is Cyber Command? U. Anonymity. DOS primarily consists of Microsoft's MS-DOS and a rebranded IBM version under the name PC-DOS, both of which were introduced in 1981. DOS, Disk Operating System. They do it or not, no matter who or what it is, just like the 4 ICG seasons. The climate must change. Lethal weapons. United Nations, State of War, Moose, George Orwell quotes, "In times of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. If we do not act, we are acted upon." Anti-Trump protests real? Yes, over 30 protests worldwide. Thousands protest Trump. 1,040 plus arrested. Girls just wanna have fun. Dom and all rights. Definition of heterophobia: irrational fear of, aversion to, or discrimination against heterosexual people. How about fraternities, so-called secret societies only males can join? Discrimination of women seems to be allowed? When Jesus comes. Leaders of come probably, whack and back to happiness. A virtual prison built of illusions and lies. This is what technocracy looks like, not Shatsy but Shiatsu. Any publicity is bad publicity, so it's okay if the ozone layer disappears because of space travel. Chlorine in rocket propellant. They look but they don't see. They don't hear when it's in their ear. Policenia. This is SWAT, democracy. Look like a SWAT, Special Weapons and Tactics, team is a law enforcement unit which uses specialized or military equipment and tactics. If they have an illegal black project or operation involving reducing the US and/or global population, what could be done about it? Who could do something about it? The taxpayers have paid to be protected and served, so they have a right to be protected and served. It is what everyone that is part of the government is supposed to do. The United Arab Emirates told United Nations Security Council members that attacks on 4 tankers off its coast on May 12 bore the hallmarks of a sophisticated and coordinated operation, most likely by a state actor. A United States actor perhaps? Almost a goal. Iran says Mossad fabricating intelligence on oil tanker attacks. International Al Monitor 22 hours ago. Grail sounds a bit like Cray.com. Cray sounds a bit like Gray area, the brain. Gray aliens do not exist, but alien-like GMO organisms can be produced. Nuclear Armageddon equals more nukes going off simultaneously than ever before. If Earth would spin off axis, could it crash into the moon because of its circulatory trajectory? Nicola Gay. Trump admin tells U.S. embassies they can't fly pride flag on flagpoles. Washington. The Trump administration is rejecting requests from U.S. embassies to fly the rainbow pride flag on embassy flagpoles during June, LGBTQ. NBC News. Perhaps it would be more acceptable if it was flagged just one day, the May Day Gay Day. That's the idea. How tolerant is America? Banned. In the time of religion, telling the truth is an act that is punishable by death. Everybody inhales, otherwise they're dead. Tell me what technocracy looks like. This is what technocracy looks like. Technocracy, the government or control of society or industry by an elite of technical experts. Synthetic telepathy reality. Whose treaties? Our treaties. Project Mockingbird is real. And did they get it to mock or not? Know your rights. Key rail saw. Let them prove their inquisition is not going on anymore. Incels or members of an online subculture who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner despite desiring one, a state they describe as inceldom. Self-identified incels are largely white and are almost exclusively male heterosexuals. The term is a portmanteau of involuntary celibates, incel, lonely, cannot post message and bottle stop.
Well, the word reminds me of imbeciles, basically. Imbeciles, or whatever. And I doubt, basically, members of an online subculture who define themselves as unable to find a romantic or sexual partner, despite desiring one. Is it some kind of setup to make us look racist or something like that? What could I say about this? I think that there are many people that are involuntarily single or celibate, and that it may affect both black, white and mulatto, which they left out, equally, basically. I'd have to check where this term is from. Perhaps wiki, something wiki dictionary or something like that. I can just Google. You can Google it yourselves and have fun.
Because I attempted to press charges against Jewish people that advocate a population reduction to 500 million, they are torturing me to death with directed energy weapons. They are using me as a scapegoat to reduce the global population and to show what happens to people that interfere with their long-planned world war and people that don't kill themselves for the earth now. Anti-Goyamism, Goyim revolution. Many people are convinced Trump is a crypto-Jew because, 1. The Trumps changed their name from Drumpf, German Jewish name, to Trump. 2. Both of Trump's parents died in a Jewish nursing home. 3. Trump's brother was in a Jewish fraternity at college. Crypto-Judaism is the secret adherence to Judaism while publicly professing to be of another faith. Practitioners are referred to as crypto-Jews, origin from Greek crypto/hidden, wiki. Crypto-Judaism. Was Ivanka's conversion stage to hide Trump as Jewish? How was Trump's brother able to join a Jewish college fraternity? Dab Shebi Goim Hag. What it really means are Shimon ben Yochai taught, Gil, even, the good among the Gentiles in wartime. Talmud Sifrim 1510 fishesbabushka.com. Kabbalah, a secret political clique or faction. 5G is poison. Radiation poisoning is real. 5G, millions of dead birds falling from the sky. Yeah, that's from chemtrails, a bloody macabre joke. The baiting mass hair. In July 2013, India and Israel agreed to work jointly on development of 5th generation, 5G.
So basically the point is that if it's from cancer chemtrails, they claim it's from HARP and ionospheric heaters, and if it's from ionospheric heaters, they claim it's from cancer chemtrails, which trap the heat between the clouds and the Earth so it can dissipate for their eco takes money scam run by the NASA Masons and others. More about it in my previous broadcast, Climate Gate, the eco takes money scam, global warming hoax. Do I believe there's one? Well, if Trump called it an expensive hoax, that doesn't mean that I believe it is. I have not chosen sides, and I'm not going to choose sides. I've not chosen sides, I'm not going to. So I think that to be an unbiased reporter and to be righteous, to be the best we can be, we should not choose sides and do whatever is in the best interest of humanity. That means control these factors that control aging now. And you could argue that all people that aren't attempting to do so have blood on their hands, but literally that's not so. That's not true.
Telecom Technologies. On November 6, 2013, Huawei announced plans to invest a minimum of $600 million into R&D for next-generation 5G networks capable of speeds 100 times faster than modern LTE networks. Wiki/5G. Tesla's radiant energy would be much faster than cancer cell phone radiation.
Okay, so how many times faster? 5G 100 times faster than modern LTE networks. Chopper flying over. Well, there it goes. I saw it clearly. It's flying pretty low. So yeah, if that's 100 times faster than what we have now, then how much faster would these scalar waves be? Some types of scalar waves travel faster than the speed of light. So then they could do everything in real time.
So the only reason they are doing this is to reduce the global population. Theory: active resistance to the Jesuits and Masons is impossible. They are the only ones that can make a difference. Our future can only. Tesla's radiant energy would be much faster than cancer cell phone radiation. So the only reason they are doing this is to reduce the global population. Theory: active resistance to the Jesuits and Masons is impossible. They are the only ones that can make a difference. Our future can only be saved from the inside. There are a lot of other reasons I am anti-5G and we all should be. Be prepared. Stop 5G stop sign image on Imgur, spread, sticker, https://imgur.com/jogn https://imgur.com/89 precise. The whole universe is a light. An infinite nothingness perhaps. 5 Gnosis, 5 gays, 5 global governments. 5G Masonic, really? Isn't 5 Cancer G Israeli? The peace symbol designed by artist Gerald Holtom for the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament in 1958. Holtom was inspired by flag semaphore used for communication at sea using signalmen holding flags. Modern semaphore includes signals for each letter of the alphabet. Holtom used the signals for N, nuclear, and D, disarmament, and juxtaposed them over a circle to create the modern symbol for peace. 5G Mobile Revolution designed in Israel in .globes.co.il 3rd of October, 2017. Qualcomm Israel VP Technology Asaf Tubal starts the conversation with an unequivocal statement. Qualcomm's first 5G cellular was developed in Israel in Hod Hashvan, and will be launched in 2019, India, Israel to jointly work for development of 5G technology. Gadgets.com updated, July 24, 2013. Trump and Israel exempt from 5G 5,827 views. Calico published on October 1, 2018. Totalitarian ideal 5G for everybody, then I'll become a splinter cell. The one-man splinter cell. The air is there, so then I'll first have to join some group. Definition of splinter group. A group of people that has separated from a larger group, such as a political party. Frivolosity. Not having any serious purpose or value. Of a person, carefree and superficial. Let the beast control your body. 5G is deadly. It's only to reduce the global population, otherwise they'd use scalar waves, where the emitters originally to electrocute people. Electro. Is it possible lions never lived in Israel, only in Africa? How warm was Earth back then exactly? After December 31, 2019, any phone that doesn't have 4G and VoLTE will be a paperweight. Boring username senior, member community.verizonwireless.com. Safety last, safety first, safety is a blast, the safety burst. Gigabytes, gigahertz, giga is 1 billion, short scale, mega is million, kilo thousand, nano millionth, short scale. How's your gold? We can do anything we want, but do we feel like doing anything? Internet extranet. Each neural network will work on each factor that controls aging. One neural network works on matter generation and alteration. Control of the molecules, neurons, protons, electrons and quarks. This is Abu Ghraib. US 2019, 5G is a mass murder weapon that causes man-made global warming. Current ongoing armed conflicts. Major wars, 10,000 or more deaths in current or past year. Current major wars and number of deaths, fatalities. In 2019, Afghanistan conflict 16,008, Yemeni crisis 8,949, Syrian civil war 3,951, Mexican drug war 22,500 in 2018, no figure for 2019, wars. 1,000 to 9,999 deaths in current or past year. Somali civil war, communal conflicts in Nigeria, Iraq conflict, Boko Haram insurgency, ethnic violence in South Sudan, Northern Mali conflict. Wiki/list_of_ongoing_armed_conflicts. Cost of wars. Middle East, 4.8 trillion plus 5,000 dead US soldiers plus 1 million dead Iraqi people and deformed depleted uranium children born for thousands of years to come equals cost of war. Idea, gentish grass that becomes a maximum length so you never have to mow the lawn again. Hajj. Someone could make a database for electrosensitive and chemically sensitive people to make sure the right to physical integrity is not violated when people are injected at gunpoint and exposed to 5 cancer G globally. Conniving, given to or involved in conspiring to do something immoral, illegal, or harmful. 3 famous possible crypto Jews. 1. Trump. 2. Bill Gates. 3. Merkel. Tesla's radiant energy would be much faster than cancer cell phone radiation, so the only reason they are trying to roll out this atrocity called 5G to reduce the global population. In reality,
Of course, I must add is to that. Basically, I just edited it, so That's another reason I read it with the speech engine to check if it's correct. And sometimes there may be errors that I don't hear because I'm always editing. In reality, so Tesla's radiant energy would be much faster than cancer cell phone radiation, so the only reason they are trying to roll out this atrocity called 5G is to reduce the global population. In reality. And of course they lie about it and pretend that it's not so. But we know better. Targeted individuals know that these are not microwaves and what they can do with this technology in reality. And that people are silenced with it. And I thought perhaps it would be fun for a change to watch a real SWAT team in action on World's Talents channel on YouTube. So how can they be so sure this isn't ISIS? Of course I'm kidding, it's just an exercise, but because these people are standing behind it, soldiers watching it, I presume. Well, if it would be ISIS, they'd drive in Toyota trucks, wouldn't they? But other than that, is there any difference? They are both energy. How peaceful. Peace in your peace. I'm gonna get something to drink. I'm gonna get some juice. Pineapple juice, I think is great. Coconut juice. Bob Marley, reggae, Mr. Brown, and Get Up, Stand Up, of course, is a song used by lots of resistance, lots of activists, daily. So, let's get some cannabis, coconut, not coconut, I'm gonna get tea and pineapple mixed with orange. I always mix it. And always 100% pure juice, of course. Not from concentrate. Feelings, nothing more than feelings. I was thinking about feelings in the kitchen. Don't you hate it when they give you a certain feeling with several ideas and types of ideas? They induce emotions with their synthetic telepathy machine called remote neural monitoring by some. But it's not just monitoring, it's altering brain waves. And of course, the Malich, and also the Hatayama patent in this case, explains that they control emotions, they induce emotions with this technology, the apparatus to remotely monitor and alter brain waves. And that's patented, and a patented device is real. A patent is not provided unless it's a working device. So, and I think it's also programming, that they induce certain feelings with certain ideas. For example, when you think about remote torture weapons or synthetic telepathy, what type of feeling do they induce? Well, besides the feeling that I'd better be quiet about it and mind my own business and stay silent, they of course may change the thought into some other idea that we like better. A so-called red herring. I've seen this one somewhere before. Also a good actor, interesting voice, also like Sean Connery. They both have good voices. Though I don't know what the name of the actor is that plays Jean-Luc Picard on the Enterprise. It's the juice. Here you see it. Pineapple orange juice. So yeah, when are these SWAT teams gonna waltz in, shut down these Rothschild banks, kick off Freemasons out of the ranks, open up the lodges for the public to see? And free the world from this cryptocracy. One theory I have about it is, unfortunately, well, one truth is that everything is energy, so everything is possible. So there is a way to do something about this. There are infinite ways to do something about synthetic telepathy, remote torture, etc. But it is true that at this time people without a Tesla plasma shield cannot protect themselves against these remote torture weapons that were used to torture my teeth out of my mouth in post-energy predictal mode, yet they have not prevented these attacks, terrorist attacks, etc., with their through-the-wall radar and remote torture weapons, etc. And some people would go as far as saying that every little attack that happens is one they have planned and orchestrated, and everything that's wrong in your life was done by these Jesuits and Masons that have infiltrated governments around the world to destabilize countries, to subvert nations, to create wars in the Middle East, also by funding terrorists. Also the Committee of 300 may be involved in these things. George Soros, Margaret Chan. Subverts the body of the Club of Rome to have an excuse for their legal wars, to invade these countries, steal the cancer oil, and they want permanent bases in these countries, possibly for their third Jesuit World War, and Iran may be the last country. So this is the end game based on what General Wesley Clark said about all these countries they were going to invade. Let's see if that's in my writings or in my chat writings. But I'm not certain that it's searched yet. Okay, it's in my chat, and then probably the chat that it's in was closed, so 2 documents started up blank. So these also typos are also made by it, of course, by modifying our brainwave. Sabotaging our brainwave may be easier than making it better. A lot easier, probably. Also because it's a lot easier to kill people than to make them eternal. Nobody succeeded at that yet. Let's see. And this one is probably the one I already have open. Perhaps not. Declare George Soros a terrorist and seize all of his related organizations' assets under RICO and NDAA law. Petitions White House Gov. That's a petition on the whitehouse.gov website. So how many people knew about that one then? I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere, so I will keep on searching. It must be in the other chat on F. I'm so psychic, incredible. Ah, there it is. Again, there's the same brainwave, perhaps. Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, Libya, Sudan, Yemen, and Iran, where they want permanent bases for their third Jesuit World War? Question mark. Then I can search on Sudan, because perhaps I didn't mention the name. Okay, that was Democracy Now!, 2nd of March 2007. General Wesley Clark said, we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years. Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Iran. So he said it in 2007 already. So that's what that idea is based on, that Iran is the end game, the global Armageddon. Also, the red heifer prediction, a genetic cow was born in Israel, perfectly red cow without blemishes, which, according to the Hebrew scholars and rabbis, prophesizes the coming of the Messiah, and that is superseded by a global Armageddon. Some more about it in my previous broadcast as well. I'm sure you can find lots of other people broadcasting about it on YouTube and also in the mainstream media. So the people are programmed and they have an agenda. A global government agenda. Power to the government instead of to the people. Power to the pedo in need, if you will, instead of power to the people, power to the peaceful. So instead of centralization, we should use decentralization. Because power corrupts, so these people are using their power to benefit themselves, also to benefit the government and members of their Jesuit and Masonic societies, secret societies, at the cost of millions of lives. So they know that if they want more money and more power, it has to come from somewhere. And it can either be people that support them because they're doing the right thing, or people that are tyrannized into submission, misprogrammed, and tortured if they speak about certain matters, basically. And or their YouTube channel can be removed. So if we do not act, we are acted upon. In the time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act or something. These are two, not Carl Jung quotes, they are 1984 George Orwell quotes. Don't know if he was a vegetarian, but Nikola Tesla was a vegetarian, and he created his invention to end all wars, the radiant energy, the death ray of Nikola Tesla, Warden Cliff Tower, etc. There are some SWAT team storms, otherwise you get these exercises. LAPD, Los Angeles Police Department, SWAT storms house. What was it? Secret weapons and tactics or something? Special Weapons and Tactics Team. A law enforcement unit which uses specialized or military equipment and tactics. So it's somewhere in between the police and the military. Assange's supporters protest in London amid fears of his Sputnik Live 8 watching now. Well, it's not live now. Assange's supporters protest in London amid fears of his extradition. 66 likes, 1 dislike, 12 watching now, because the event may already be over, so we can rewind a little bit. This is what technocracy looks like. And there are also lots of people that claim that Assange is Mossad, that CIA and Mossad funded WikiLeaks. So is he really in prison? Is anybody really checking that? Or is there no way to check it for a civilian like me, for example? Could I just walk into that prison and demand to see Assange? Perhaps you can visit him. Perhaps you get tons of money, I don't know. Because they want to keep people busy with everything else, not with preparing for World War III if they want 7 billion people to die. which is clear from the book quotes in Georgia Guidestones. Well, they could also say that to Assange. Hands off, Assange. Could Assange be a humanoid robot? Nobody would expect that. They wouldn't suspect it, I think. And in what state are the robots? There are human-like robots, and according to Fritz Springmeier, controlled opposition, they can upload people's brain contents into another brain, so their memories, long-term memory is copied into another human, and they can do that with alterations also. And with the neural networks that may be possible, they simply translate all the data in the brain into ones and zeros. And of course it's possible to clone people, so what happened to the original Assange, etc. And I don't think he is. I don't think that there are human robots that advance that also bleed when you cut them, and that do everything like humans do, eat and go to the bathroom, etc. But theoretically it's possible, but it's dehumanization, and so you could argue it's a form of slander. But of course I was just kidding, so what good has Assange supposedly done for humanity? I think it's about spying on your brain mapping, synthetic telepathy, not about spying on your emails and your cancer cell phone calls. So I'm also wondering, are these spay protesters? I also see somebody wearing an anonymous mask. Is he CIA? The CIA, isn't it? Running south. Yankee, go home!
Stop that torture! Stop their lives!
No blood for control.
Torture! Stop their lives! Stop that torture! Stop their lives! Stop that torture! Stop their lives!
Stop the torture, stop the light.
The only decision! No extradition! 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 Free, free, Julian Assange! 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 Free, free, Julian Assange!
Breathe, breathe.
Julian Assange! Free, free, Julian Assange! Free, free, Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free, Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free, Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free, Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free, Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free, Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free, Julian Assange! British justice! No justice! 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 Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies! Free Julian Assange! Stop their torture! Stop their lies!
Assange's supporters protest in London amid fears of his extradition. 6 watching now. 68. 1. Share, save. Sputnik streamed live 3 hours ago. Subscribe. http://www.youtube.com/channel/UC4LX. Follow US. Ali Al Iraqi Free Assange. Plankton Breath. Did you know that Ken Dodd's dad's dog's dead? Dave.
The Labour Party said in defence of Assange, where is the Labour Party defending free speech? Where are the trade unions here on this demonstration? Where are
Thurman Natural Freedom to Julian Assange.
the Labour Party? We need to make a stand and call out all those who will not stand on the side of free speech, on the side
Martin Weir. Free Julian Assange now.
side of real justice. Free, free! The
Rambo Jambo, so you're telling us Assange managed to hack through top government, intelligence agencies and even private encrypted emails without getting caught? You okay? Rambo Jambo, Assange is a paid shill and WikiLeaks is a controlled disinformation front.
So that's all in front of the Westminster Magistrates Court. Okay. So, Ron Paul Liberty Report is found twice when I Google on Iranian tanker plus false flag. Trump also said auditing the Fed is so important, but I think he didn't yet. So how do you know they're not smoke grenades? They're not yellow vests. You can't see that from here. And of course, that little boat was just happened to sail there in these waters near that vessel, that cancer oil tanker that was attacked supposedly. So if it is a false flag attack, they'd blame whoever the neural network knows of that most people would believe did it. But in this case, I think they want to go to war with Iran. So it's also the satanic inversion, Trump claiming that he hopes they're not going to war with Iran, as if there's any reason to think that that could happen. So it indicates their plans and actions speak louder than words, like designating the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Iran's official army, a terror group, a la ISIS. No, no, no. Yes. Could that be a dolphin glass nuclear submarine. Is there a way to determine, perhaps these torpedoes have grooves like these bullets, and then you can determine what type of submarine fired these torpedoes or whatever they used? And if it was a torpedo, then it's I'd have to look at this closer basically. So if we look at this picture in the video we just saw, for example, to me it looks more like they set some fuel on fire or whatever, something that smokes a lot. Would a torpedo damage it like this? If this tanker was torpedoed, wouldn't it just completely sink and the cancer oil would spill, etc.? Is this even possible? Is that what they're claiming, that a torpedo hit this? Seriously? I can Google it, but I'm kind of tired of all this, so it's better to have sex, I think, so single ladies are welcome. Skype ProLogic 999, ProLogic 999. I'm in Meidrecht and you'd have to visit me. I don't feel like visiting anybody. But I could have a driver's license and a car. So basically you could send a picture, and then if I feel some attraction towards you, then I could decide, hey, that's a good idea. Okay, I can visit you. So education is the key to universal peace creation. And of course, law, the judicial system. And using it also. Give peace a chance. Try pineapple coconut smoothie or green tea. Stay hydrated, y'all. Really, it's a good idea. So it's better not to mention all these names. We are now in a new era. And how could it catch fire? Can cancer oil even burn if it's not refined and stuff? I think this is. Well, am I allowed to say that I think this looks fake? Or perhaps I should refrain from doing so. And perhaps you all shouldn't write anything about it in the comments. Because they hunt you down and they do the most horrible things. If you're a real YouTuber. All YouTubers are heroes, they are. You could argue they have a license to kill also. Just like the CIA and the government doesn't have it. So, very funny. This water looks kind of blue. It's so navel staring blue. What air? No water. I'm taking some snuff, so I might sneeze. And this is the Pompadour. Very special smell, very barockish. I don't know how to describe it, but it's pretty awesome. It's pretty cool. I bought a no cancer cell phone, of course. Soon they will be paperweight, like we read. So they will have a negative value, you could argue soon. If they would roll out their 5G cancer network, their global population reduction weapon. And I claim cancer UMTS and cancer GSM is as well, and anything that transmits cancer cell phone radiation microwaves is a population reduction weapon, and the only reason they could have produced this, knowing that they had the Tesla technology long before they made these cancer UMTS and cancer GSM antennas, etc., the only reason can be to reduce global population. They're doing this deliberately. And also to maintain an advantage over the people, so they want to keep this technology secret and use it for themselves, benefit from it themselves, and they use it to prevent others from building it and making it. So are we already past that point on our timeline that a world war could have occurred? We see how Kushner was, quote, destroyed, unquote, the word used by the mainstream media as well. So we are one, yes, the deity is wrong as well in reality. So I don't make deals with terrorists, and putting this illegal voice to skull technology, these messages in people's skulls, is illegal. They have to transgress against people's right to physical integrity to do that. And now there are plenty of tests, and a new test that makes clear that many scientists know that cancer cell phone radiation microwaves are carcinogenic. So radiation poisoning occurs, and many people know it firsthand. Some people are suffering from stomach aches or other ailments, and then if they turn off the cancer LAN, the cancer Wi-Fi, the cancer cell phone in airplane mode, then after a while it's gone. And you can also use 657 Hz, Dr. Rife frequencies, good music vibes, vibrate yourself, and also jump around, shake your blood cells, basically. So here we get a better view of the supposed fire. I'm thinking perhaps it's like the Titanic, there are compartments. So if the torpedo would strike, then this would catch fire and start to smoke, produce smoke if it's cancer oil. But here we see a sort of fire, and my question is, could that be possible? Is it some kind of incendiary bomb or torpedo? a bomb torpedo, perhaps. Or is a torpedo a bomb? I don't know much about it. And study war no more. I'm going to lay down my bags and I will on the waterfront. No, it's not there I want. I want the waterfront. I want the waterfront, I guess. I don't know the original lyrics. And study Warnoborg. So that's all I'm saying. This is a real war, not an info war, and they pursue a military order, not a police state. And I'm a self-proclaimed conspiracy factist, not a self-proclaimed conspiracy theorist like Alex Jones, who is now banned by YouTube, and many others are banned as well. And I guess they didn't get any warning, like on YouTube you at least get strikes if there's something in violation of the policy in your YouTube video. But I think they didn't get that from PayPal either, so they never told them, hey, you can't do this. If you do it again, then we're gonna remove your account, etc. So how could they have known that what they were doing was not just pushing the limit, but crossing a line? But the crisis actors of CNN are no reason to ban CNN, or whatever. How should I see that then? Anyway, I'm not gonna cover that now, because we have to prevent this world war. That's the first phase of creating a perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. Preventing this long-planned third Jesuit world war to build their third temple and impose their satanic Luciferian totalitarian global government. But if we can't do that, then we have to prepare, and I still have to get more storable food. And today is a Friday. An airfan blogspot.com. I'd have to check that out first if there's no bad material that I can't show on YouTube. I can Google an airfan. Also on Twitter. Angerfan, aka Anerfan, is a fraudster. kenspecky.blogspot.com. So let's start with the anger fan thing then, if he even has people blogging about what a fraudster he is.
Hallo,
Hi.
is dit misschien wat je gisteren verwacht hebt?
Let's my father come in.
Van ING.
Aha. Okay, thank you.
Ga het makkelijk open.
Oh, okay.
Is that it?
That's the thing to because they're phasing out these pin codes, basically the ton code list, and this is a device so that you can so you don't need a cancer cell phone radiation to book money, to transfer money, basically. So
Dus daar toets je de pin in en dan krijg je de tankcode eruit. Is dat het?
well, I still have to check how it works, but you can get it for free on the ING website, so make sure you get one. Okay?
Well,
Perhaps you need it one day, so
I can't do that because
it's best to have two. Oh, you have an ING account, don't you? You can't log in on that?
no.
Well, perhaps you don't need to log in. Perhaps you can also get it at the post office. So you should be able to get this, and otherwise Lucia should be able to get it for you. Okay, but I'm doing a broadcast, so I'd like to continue the broadcast.
That is if you want to pay from your account, ING,
Right.
on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I never do that.
No, but it's free, and perhaps soon you will be doing that again. So that's why you must have one, because if you don't have one, perhaps you'll have to pay for it in the future. And now you can still get it for free.
Okay.
So there's no reason not to get one, I guess. Okay. Well, basically they make the same joke that I've made, more or less. But they did it before me, the 13th of June 2019. Japanese tanker sighted fire torpedo 1. The cartoon balloon. And of course this was material of Netanyahu on a submarine, but it has nothing to do with this event. They were two separate events, I guess. Iran's foreign minister has labeled the reported attack on two, quote, Japan-related, unquote, oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman as, quote, suspicious, unquote, occurring just as Japanese Prime Minister Abe came to Tehran for major talks. Shinzo Abe. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. Prime Minister of Japan. Gee, shock. Javad Zarif noted that the incidents on the two vessels on 13 June 2019 had occurred as Abe sat down for extensive and friendly, unquote, discussions with Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei. Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what happened. Iran's FM. Don't call it a false flag. Iran blamed. Lift the veil, usually right, always good.
United States government that the Islamic
Oh
Republic.
yeah. I had that video prepared as well. Pompeo. Or is it Pompeo? CNN article.
Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today. This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with such a high degree of sophistication.
And Iran doesn't have that either, supposedly, so only the US could have done it, am I right?
This is only the latest in a series of attacks instigated by the Islamic Republic of Iran and its surrogates against American and allied interests. And they should be understood in the context of 40 years of unprovoked aggression against freedom-loving nations.
Oh yeah, Iran invaded all these countries in the Middle East for permanent bases for the Third Jesuit World War, of course. Iran invaded Iraq and Syria, Afghanistan, Vietnam. They're behind it all.
On April 22nd, Iran promised the world that it would interrupt the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. It is now working to execute on that promise. Prime Minister Abe made a historic trip to Iran to ask the oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Promised the world that it would interrupt the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz. Promised the world that 22nd, Iran promised the world that it would interrupt the flow of oil through the Strait of Hormuz.
Yes, all Iranian people went out on the street with these plates that protesters hold, these banners, promising that they'd halt the flow of cancer oil through the Strait of Hormuz, but there's a mainstream media blackout on this subject. So that's why most people don't know this.
It is now working to execute on that promise. Prime Minister Abe made a historic trip to Iran to ask the regime to de-escalate and enter into talks. Iran's supreme leader rejected Prime Minister Abe's diplomacy today by saying he has no response to President Trump and will not answer. The supreme leader's government then insulted Japan by attacking a Japanese oil tanker just outside of Iranian waters, threatening the lives of the entire crew, creating a maritime emergency. Iran's foreign minister today responded to these attacks. He said sardonically, quote, "Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning," end of quote. Foreign Minister Zarif may think this is funny, but no one else in the world does. Iran Sharif, Foreign Minister Zarif may think this is funny. He said sardonically, quote, "Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning," end of quote. Foreign Minister Zarif may think this is funny, but no one else in the world does. Iran should meet.
So at this point, I think, what if they do another attack, basically, if they do the same thing again and again and then start a world war over it? Or if this is already going to escalate into something and used as an excuse, false pretense, to do other things that are wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. For example, to sanction Iran, though they obviously do not have even a single nuke.
Diplomacy with diplomacy, not with terror, bloodshed, and extortion. The United States will defend its forces, interests, and stand with our partners and allies to safeguard global commerce and regional stability.
So I think it's best to make plans also for the event that they're not going to do the right thing, which we've never seen them do, I guess. US government is criminal, tyrannical, terroristic, democidal, evil.
And we call upon all nations threatened by Iran's provocative acts to join us in that endeavor. Thank you. The Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks.
So then they're not blaming it on Iran, but the Islamic Republic. So I think they're trying to scapegoat Iran to a certain extent. And they're targeting Iran also with illegal sanctions, funding terrorists to destabilize countries. They've done it in so many countries around the world, again and again. So can't anybody stop these people? And if there would be another world war, what guarantee do we have that they won't use depleted uranium and that everybody will be safely annihilated with the new scalar technology that the vegetarian Nikola Tesla made to end all wars? Preventing beats curing. And what do I see? The Guardian video. Looks kind of black and white and inverted, perhaps a drone video or something. So here we read on the screen, US says, well, it should be more specific because the US and Iranian people don't talk as one with one voice via the president and other supposed leaders that are often tyrants, dictators, and people that were not really elected because electronic voting has been an impossibility since Tesla's scalar technology is radiant energy, wireless energy, their ability to switch things on and off remotely. Since that invention, it's possible that there were no real electronic elections ever since the inception of electronic voting. I've covered that, the timeline also, with Tesla's technology superseding the atomic tests, the Trinity tests, by about 40 years. So it's also possible nuclear weapons never had a chance. So nuclear weapons are obsolete because of scalar weapons, and nothing is what it seems, trust no one. The US says this video, but prevent mutually assured destruction. I think they definitely have weapons of mass destruction, nuclear, biological, chemical, and radiation weapons. The US says this video shows Iran's military recovering an unexploded mine and create universal peace. Let's take a better look at it then. This has to go. what is the audio on this video? Iran has denied responsibility for the oil tanker attack. So officially their leaders have denied it. Iranian officials, you would write, that's also easy to do. But okay, it's an extra word, so I want to keep these headlines short, I understand that. But it would be better if they would be more specific, so we know who said what and what's really going on. So we can verify if these sources are telling us the truth or if it's some fabrication to suit some kind of agenda. Their population reduction agenda, of course. Above we see a small boat that may be controlled by the Pentagon or by the Israelis, ? Well, of course, they could be Mossad or whatever. Can anybody recognize anybody that we see on this video? Perhaps it's not close enough. And what type of vessel is it, basically? And if it's a false flag attack, they'd make it look like it's an Iranian vessel and Iranians on board, etc. Iran attacks oil tankers, truth or fiction? Wrong button. I can first take a look at the comments. One ship attacked is Norwegian-owned, Brabantse Road. Norway has lost revenues because of the lower cancer oil prices. Brabantse Road, lower oil prices after the quote Iran deal unquote was brokered by Obama and the EU. Norway now profits as cancer oil prices go up. Norway is part of NATO. Norway perhaps does not wish to again go against Israel after the Anders Breivik massacre of 2011? ? Well, thinking about it. Well, we can at least Google if it has finally sunk, if the cancer oil tanker sank. Sank. Of course, I click on news. 22 hours ago, 11 hours ago, 18 minutes ago, last time the US witnessed a quote tanker war unquote in the Persian Gulf. It ended in tragedy. Tragedy! When the window's gone and you're gone and we're free. After two suspected attacks on tankers in the Gulf of Oman on Thursday, one question was looming over discussions in Washington and other Western capitals Friday morning. If Iran was indeed behind the attacks, as the United States has claimed, How much more is it willing to risk? But what if they're not behind it in reality? What if they were in front of it? They were trying to prevent it. They saw that mine with their cancer causing through the wall radar, cancer radar, and they decided let's save that vessel. And as the Americans booby trapped us so we can transport cancer oil, let's warn them. And perhaps Mossad is assisting them, but they're not all Mossad. Few expected either Iran or the Trump administration would willingly provoke a full-blown conflict, but the chances of an accidental escalation have inched up since tankers were sabotaged near the United Arab Emirates port of Fujairah last month. AI is in Fujairah. Oh, there you see more. Oh no. I've already seen that video. Probably it's the same thing. Different cameraman. And why do they need a little boat like that to extinguish the fire when they're surrounded with ocean, with megatons of water? They don't have a little fire extinguisher on board or something, because it never happens. And if that cancer oil burns, why do we refine it then? Well, I think that they say there are other reasons, the environment, we can't have all that smoke, so we take that part out, and dioxin is good for you, so we leave that in there to reduce the global population for the cows, and so they can make the cheeses. So yeah, I think that they can just have some pump that does the same thing as that little boat. But if this boat would have been torpedoed, wouldn't it have sunk? And so I was, I can also Google sunk. Tanker sinks after attack in Gulf, 44 crew picked up by Iran. Reuters, 13th of June 2019. But some others reported that they misreported that it didn't sink. I remember that yesterday, I think. Tanker owner seems to dispute US account of Gulf of Oman attack. That can also be a trick part of a program, basically. So if some Iranians did it, then that's no reason to accuse Iran and the Iranian government, etc. So without evidence that proves things, without any reasonable doubt, it's slander. You can see Iran as a legal person, basically. And that picture in the right bottom corner, basically, it doesn't look like it's black water, but it's white water. So Blackwater is now the Academy, so they still exist, but under a different name. People could make a painting out of this, cartoonify it or whatever. I could do that right now live on YouTube, but I think I'm gonna get some more juice. I still have tea. And it is quite warm, though there's not too much sunshine. Temperatures are more getting to be normal, not too cold for the time of year like we're for 2 months now or so. So in the kitchen I got the idea that I'm so scapegoated. You can call me the scapegoat head. So yeah, we hope we're not going to war. That's why we're sending our troops to Iran, to the Middle East. Give them something to do. They need something to do. It won't be long until they do exactly what we want them to do. It's a matter of time. And this one's too long for you. Everything counts ain't large amounts. So what are they doing to prevent this cancer oil from flowing into the sea and from contaminating our air, atmosphere, and environment? And actually, 27,000 times less variants are required to induce equivalent disease when dispersed in aerosol form.
Iran's elite naval forces set to pass skills to proxy fighters. Reuters, May 17, 2019. A proxy war is an armed conflict between two states or non-state actors which act on the instigation or on behalf of other parties that are not directly involved in the hostilities.
Reminds me of Trump determining what the capital of Jerusalem is, and not Netanyahu or the Israeli people or the Palestinians and people in Gaza, etc. The West Bank. And these annexations that the 28 EU member countries disagree with on Trump, disagree on with Trump. Okay, so the key element of the proxy war is that it's on the instigation or on behalf of other parties that are not directly involved in the hostilities. Okay. Well, war is always a crime, so war is never okay, of course. Doesn't it have the element that they can win it as well? So are we gonna find the word ceasefire in here? Or peace? Standing peace treaties. Peace talks are less likely to bear fruit, and damage to infrastructure can be many times greater. A proxy war with significant effect occurred between the United States and the USSR during the Vietnam War. In particular, the bombing campaign Operation Rolling Thunder destroyed significant amounts of infrastructure, making life more difficult for North Vietnamese citizens. In addition, unexploded bombs dropped during the campaign have killed tens of thousands since the war ended, not only in Vietnam, but also in Cambodia and Laos. Also significant was the Soviet-Afghan War, which cost thousands of lives and billions of dollars, bankrupting the Soviet Union and contributing to its collapse. Billions of dollars, while the US has spent 4.8 trillion on the what some call illegal wars in the Middle East. That has to do with the approval of Congress. In order for a conflict to be considered a proxy war, there must be a direct, long-term relationship between external actors and the belligerents involved. The aforementioned relationship usually takes the form of funding, military training, arms. Reminds me of Obama talking about training ISIL fighters or something. Let's see if I can find that one. Obama, ISIL fighters. I think I saw a video recently, perhaps I also covered it in a video myself recently.
As I've said before, this aspect of our strategy was moving too slowly, but the fall of Mahdi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes. Steps I ordered last month were speeding up training of ISIL forces as the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Live. Protesters return to Hong Kong streets over extradition bill 132. Watching now. Like, dislike.
So they're saying, like, if there's a nuke, then we all die. So let's dismantle them all. Recreate a ping pong, we rule the world. Good God, Lord. Ik wil hem dat it's in, I want him in Dutch. It does sound like Goy a bit. Well, I have no idea what they're saying, so I don't know if it's a violation of YouTube policy. Oh, sounds like we're living. Rips is also vegetarian. Lots of people. I really have to make it full screen to see. It's a large amount of people, basically. And where's the speaker standing? I think she might be standing here somewhere. This might be the speaker. So she's aimed at the people in the lights, more or less. But now people are standing to the left. So I have no idea what it's about. But it must be something if that many people unite and protest. It's really something in China, I think. But at least it's peaceful. In Gaza we saw 190 protesters killed. And in the yellow vests, always when the police or against that recycle cops appeared, it turns into a battlefield. And as long as they are not present, it's always peaceful. And people throwing things. The only ones that I've seen were not wearing yellow vests. So these were people firstly dressed as ninjas, secondly police provocateurs, agent provocateurs. It's also, you can find that on Google. So it's interesting that it's live. And I think that broadcasts from China are pretty rare. So they have Youku in China, basically. Don't even know if YouTube is allowed or how they do it. And I don't know much or anything about it, you could argue. Let's Analysis Oman attack Iran is the immediate but unlikely suspect. So then we can Google what immediate suspect is exactly. Or is it some phrase they've coined? So what do they base that on? And also, what do people think that it's an unlikely suspect base that on? So we can read the article. Iranian tanker attacks, well, it's just pestering what they all say, basically regurgitating perhaps what they're dictated by Reuters or whatever. US seizes on tanker attacks to up the stakes with Iran. Edition CNN. But it was haaretz.com. Want to read more? Subscribe. Well, I can't do the IP thing right now. Analysis Oman attack Iran is the immediate but unlikely suspect. US officials rushed to point to Tehran, but somehow the world's leading intelligence services failed to discover who is actually behind the strike. And even if they knew, what could be done without risking all-out war? So I don't believe that with the through-the-wall radar and the way they monitor the oceans and the waters, I think it's impossible that they don't know who did it in reality, and therefore they must have done it themselves, in theory. Failed to discover who is actually behind the strike, and even if they knew, what could be done without risking all-out war? Well, sharing that evidence with the world, basically, so that they can take action and arrest or take appropriate action to counter possible terrorist strikes and things that could lead to a world war, to prevent all that and to do what they're supposed to, that is protect and serve the taxpayers. A unnamed senior, shouldn't it be an unnamed senior US Defense Department official, was quick to tell CBS that Iran was, quote, apparently, unquote, behind the Thursday attack on 2 oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Apparently, that's so, what is the correct term, disambiguous, or may not be the right word. That indicates that they'd have some kind of evidence, and we all know they don't, because they were first claiming that they were possibly behind these attacks. Perhaps Bolton also. In early May, National Security Advisor Don Bolton announced the US was developing an aircraft carrier and bomber planes, deploying an aircraft carrier and bomber planes to the Persian Gulf in response to, quote, a number of troubling and escalatory indications and warnings, unquote, of threats from Iran. Fox.com. Mike Pompeo blames Iran for Gulf tanker attacks without offering so he's not gonna burn that red Gentech cow to convince him all that they really did it. Pompeo, without offering evidence, blames Iran for Gulf tanker attacks. So let's read this then. If we dance. So I'm sure they cannot debunk it. And people that want to do
Een groen begin is het halve werk. Dus financier je
energiebesparende maatregelen nu mee.
Yay!
It's a fairly modest reaction in the context of the oil market as we see it at the moment. And that is because the macro environment here is more about concerns about falling demand than it is about potential supply drops. Oil has been falling. It fell yesterday to a 5-month low.
So that's really annoying, these commercials on CNN. Perhaps I should boycott CNN as well. So we were going to read the article, or at least I'm going to read it, if there are no people watching. Which you could argue is stupid. I should be getting foodstuffs. Spend all my money on food, peanut butter and rice. And build a nice ark.
Washington, CNN U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo blamed Iran for an attack on 2 tankers in the Gulf of Oman, saying the assessment was based on intelligence, but presented no evidence to support his claim. It is the assessment by the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today, Pompeo said in specially scheduled remarks at the State Department Thursday, as investigations into the attacks were beginning. This assessment is based on intelligence, the weapons used, the level of expertise needed to execute the operation, recent similar Iranian attacks on shipping, and the fact that no proxy group operating in the area has the resources and proficiency to act with such a high degree of sophistication, Pompeo said. Iran will get the blame, but the Gulf of Oman truth is likely a lot murkier. Iran will get the blame, but the Gulf of Oman truth is likely a lot murkier. Pompeo spoke hours after the 2 tankers were attacked and less than a month after 4 other ships in.
So I don't believe that CNN headline either. I think Trump will get the blame.
The region were struck in what appears to be a similar way. National Security Advisor John Bolton blamed Iran for those strikes at the time, again without offering evidence that Tehran was responsible. Later Thursday, 4 U.S. officials told CNN that the U.S. has video and photos that show an Iranian Navy boat removing an unexploded mine attached to the hull of the Japanese-owned chemical tanker Courageous. One of the officials said a U.S. military aircraft overhead recorded a full-motion video of an Iranian boat moving alongside one of the stricken tankers and removing an unexploded limpet mine from its hull. The official said the imagery shows a person on board that small boat grabbing the unexploded mine.
So what if it wasn't Iran but some other advanced group? Could it even be ISIS or whatever? Funded by CIA, US government officials, etc. Or Committee of 300 members. Normally driving their Toyotas. In a fashionable fashion. Whatever. Of course, the question is what would happen if Iran didn't do it and they are wrongly accusing Iran of this. And what would Russia do? Could a world war or a war break out over these cancer oil vessels? And there are two of them supposedly. Do we see two different ones, or are these both the same boat? Float till afloat. You are now a real boat. Oh yeah, we were reading the article. Boring.
The boat made the move even after the USS Bainbridge, as well as a US drone and P-8 aircraft, had been on the scene for 4 hours. US defense officials believe that the Iranians were seeking to recover evidence of their involvement in the attack. CNN has not independently seen the video. The officials described the photos and video to CNN on the condition they not be identified, discussing sensitive military information. It is not clear if the imagery will be publicly shown. Another of the officials tells CNN that multiple Iranian small boats have entered the area where the USS Bainbridge continues to be on the scene, prompting U.S. Central Command to issue a statement saying, "No interference with USS Bainbridge, or its mission, will be tolerated." Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said suspicious doesn't begin to describe this latest incident, noting that one of the tankers is Japanese-owned and that the attack took place as Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was visiting Iran in an effort to calm tensions between Washington and Tehran. Reported attacks on Japan-related tankers occurred while PM Shinzo Abe was meeting with Ayatollah Khomeini for extensive and friendly talks. Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning, Zarif tweeted. Pompeo characterized the attack as an insult to Abe. Iran's supreme leader rejected Prime Minister Abe's diplomacy today by saying he has no response to President Trump and will not answer, Pompeo said. He added that the Iranian government insulted Japan by attacking a Japanese oil tanker just outside Iranian waters. Pompeo did not take any questions after his statement and met with Acting Secretary of Defense Patrick Shanahan later on Thursday afternoon at the Pentagon to discuss the current situation with Iran, according to a U.S. defense official and an administration official. While I very much appreciate PM Abe going to Iran to meet with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, I personally feel that it is too soon to even think about making a deal. They are not ready. and neither are we. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump, June 13, 2019. Shortly before Pompeo placed blame on Iran, President Donald Trump struck a different note, referring to the possibility of talks with Iran in a tweet. While I very much appreciate PM Abe going to Iran to meet with Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, I personally feel that it is too soon to even think about making a deal. They are not ready, and neither are we. The president said. The attacks are likely to increase the possibility of a clash between the US and Iran in the Gulf, analysts said, as tensions have steadily increased. In the last few months, the US has intensified its maximum pressure campaign meant to starve Iran's economy, targeting the country's oil exports in April. The Trump administration has also signaled its willingness to consider military force, with Bolton ordering updates to a military plan to send 120,000 troops to the Middle East should Iran attack U.S. forces. Trump ordered an additional 1,500 troops to the region in late May as a mostly protective effort to deter Iranian threats, he said, just weeks after the U.S. ordered a military strike group to the region. On Thursday, Pompeo listed a series of Iranian attacks and appealed to other countries to help the U.S. crack down on Tehran. Pompeo said that taken as a whole, these unprovoked attacks present a clear threat to international peace and security, a blatant assault on the freedom of navigation, and an unacceptable campaign of escalating tension by Iran. The United States will defend its foreign interests and stand with our partners' allies to safeguard global commerce and regional stability, Pompeo said. We call upon all nations threatened by Iran's provocative acts to join us in that endeavor. Damage confidence. Henry Rome, an analyst with the Eurasia Group, said that the incidents appear aimed at demonstrating the vulnerability of Gulf shipping, while damaging confidence in the U.S. ability to protect freedom of navigation. He noted that the game has changed since the end of April, when the U.S. targeted Iran's oil revenues, the central pillar of its economy. It's very unlikely it was a rogue operation by the Revolutionary Guard Corps, Rome said, referring to the elite military group with deep political and economic influence. You have to entertain at least the conclusion that this was the Iranians trying to put an exclamation point at the end of their message to Abe. The first message, Rome said, was that we're not going to talk to the Americans. Zarif said in a late May interview with CNN that Iran will not speak with the U.S. until it shows Tehran respect by honoring its commitments under the 2015 nuclear deal. Trump pulled the U.S. out of that pact in 2018. Javad Zarif reported attacks on Japan-related tankers occurred while PM Abe Shinzo was meeting with Ayatollah Khamenei for extensive and friendly talks. Suspicious doesn't begin to describe what likely transpired this morning. Iran's proposed regional dialogue forum is imperative. 2908 11:54 a.m. June 13, 2019. Twitter adds info and privacy. 1,779 people are talking about this. Iran's second message, Rome said, is that your exports and everybody else's exports are going to be threatened if we are not going to be able to sell our oil. Saudi Arabian Minister of Energy Khalid Al-Falih said the kingdom is monitoring the attack with great concern, describing the incident as a terrorist attack, according to the Saudi press agency, a state media organization. Al-Falih said Saudi Arabia would take all the measures it deems necessary to protect its ports and territorial waters, called upon the international community to help protect global maritime navigation, and said it remains committed to maintaining a reliable oil supply in global markets, SPA said. Speaking to CNN's Wolf Blitzer on the Situation Room Thursday, Saudi Minister of State Adel Al-Jubeir said his country had no reason to disagree with the Secretary of State. When pressed for evidence, Jubeir said he believed the investigations will continue and the evidence will be made available to the world. The U.S. has gone to the United Nations Security Council to make its case. And I think once this is concluded, it will become very obvious, he said. However, no evidence was publicly presented following that UN Security Council session. Kuwait's UN Ambassador Mansour Al-Otaibi, speaking to the press after the meeting on Thursday afternoon, said they didn't discuss any evidence. Today was just preliminary discussions about what happened and upon the request by the U.S., he said, adding that he didn't want to comment on whether he had seen evidence linking Iran to the attacks. He said they would like to see an impartial, thorough investigation. More Navy ships. The ships struck Thursday, one carrying oil and the other transporting a cargo of chemicals, were hit in international waters near the strategically important Strait of Hormuz. All crew members were evacuated and were safe, according to the owners of the two ships. The vessels were hit at or below the waterline, in close proximity to the engine room, said the International Association of Independent Tanker Owners, which added that the attacks appeared to be well planned and coordinated. A U.S. Navy crew on the USS Bainbridge reported that they saw an unexploded limpet mine on the side of one of the ships, according to a U.S. defense official familiar with the matter. A limpet mine is a type of mine attached to the hull using magnets and was used in the May attacks. More U.S. Navy ships are expected to head to the area in the coming hours for security, patrolling, helping mariners get back to port and potentially assist in arranging for tankers to be towed to port, the source said. On Thursday evening, Lieutenant Col. Earl Brown, a U.S. Central Command spokesman, said the USS Bainbridge remains in close contact with the M.V. Courageous and is the on-scene U.S. command authority. No interference with USS Bainbridge, or its mission, will be tolerated, he said in a statement. Limpet mines were also suspected to have been used in the May attack on 4 royal tankers off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. The UE, a regional rival of Iran's, said it concluded that a state actor is the most likely culprit. It found that chemical analysis of the debris recovered in May revealed it was highly likely that limpet mines were deployed. In Thursday's attack, the Norwegian Maritime Agency said that 3 explosions were reported on board the Marshall Islands flagged Front-Altair Royal tanker, which is owned by the Bermuda-based Norwegian company Frontline. The company said that a fire broke out after an explosion and that the cause of the blast was unclear. A second vessel, the Japanese-owned chemical tanker Courageous, was attacked twice with some sort of shell around 6 a.m. local time, 10 p.m. ET Wednesday, the ship's co-manager Michio Yobe said. Sabotage attack. All 21 Philippine crew members were evacuated, Yobe added. The ship's Singapore-based management company, BSM, said that a sailor had been injured and that the vessel had suffered damage to its hull. In May, 4 royal tankers were attacked off the coast of the United Arab Emirates, near the strategic Fujairah port, in what the UE described as a sabotage attack. At the time, Bolton told reporters that "I think it is clear these attacks were naval mines almost certainly from Iran," Bolton told reporters during a visit to Abu Dhabi in late May. Tehran denied any involvement. CNN's Frederick Plyatkin and Ariya Tarasova in Moscow, Barbara Starr and Michelle Kozinsky in Washington, Hugh Humyon in Atlanta, Richard Roth in New York, and Vasco Codorvio in London contributed to this report. Paid content. If you're over 40 and own a computer, this game is a must. If you're over 40 and own a computer, this game is a must. Thrown. What's going on with 5G? What's going on with Visit my YouTube channel, Destroy 5G, Prevent. Visit my Destroy 5G, Prevent World War III. Visit my YouTube channel, Try Something.Vegetarian. Please remember to like, subscribe and share important videos on your timeline with the share button underneath this video. Thank you all for watching. May peace and true love accompany you on your travels wherever you may travel. Tune in next time on Try Something.Vegetarian. To cure a disease, you have to treat the cause and not just fight the symptoms with chemical, thus cancer-causing prescription drugs. Pseudoparasitism of Myriapoda in humans. Even the common house centipede procreates in the human intestine. 25% of the meat eaters have tapeworm, according to Dr. Rio. We are all knowing, we know what we know. People were misprogrammed to believe instead of know when they were children, when their brains soaked up every piece of information like a sponge, including lies! This is why most people worship the God of their parents or become unbelievers, atheists. But rabbis can change the laws, codify law. Punishment in proportion to the crime is what we need to create a perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. Possible Q's everything equals Z. Illegal crop circles must be stopped. THY thunder cannot make a believer out of me. Ionospheric heater atrocity. To become eternal and almighty in reality, learn how to channel the energy. Everything is energy, including time, according to some scientists. Self-respect doesn't help if the neural network voice of God weapon serves a select few that programmed it. It still has to learn how to control all factors that control aging. Ten Commandments are good laws. Thou shalt not kill is the heart of the Torah on which the other commandments are built. If I do not have any God, then I cannot have other gods either.
Well, actually, there's a question mark after build.
Remote torture is done with scalar waves, not microwaves. Will the righteous be resurrected in Olam Haba? Stop heating our environment with ionospheric heaters. Stop punching holes in the Earth's ionosphere. Burn a Quran, burn a satanic Bible, Torah, and burn a Talmud to prevent the next Ice Age, but do it on YouTube. Baked Alaska is a vegetarian desert.
Oh, I didn't get that before. If they would bake Alaska, then it would turn into a desert, basically. But it's desert, not desert. I don't know if I misspelled it. It's possible.
Everything is possible, infinite ways, because everything is energy. IAMPRO dereligionization, also for getting rid of Islam and Christianity through education, legal means. Most rockets hit Gaza. Israel has the Iron Dome. 190 protesters were killed in Gaza. punishment must always be proportionate to the crime. Because there is no real God, there will never be a real Messiah. The Bible is a collection of plagiarized, polytheistic myths rolled into monotheism, proving God does not exist. Don't let them fool you. The neural network will never become the creator of heaven and earth, but near Almighty, since everything is energy. Use scalar waves with healing frequencies or fiber optic cable. Britain will become a Muslim caliphate. It's a simple calculation. Muslims still have the highest birth rate. Dereligionization now. Annihilate 5G. Save the people. Cancer. Cell phone radiation is very harmful to your health. Do the reproducible lumping red blood cells test. I advise strongly against the use of these little cheap cancer cells at Raj Speaker's Corner. Thwart controlled, fake, opposition to 5G, fake resistance. Use juice. Stay hydrated. Stop using cancer cell phone radiation, microwaves. Start using scalar waves with a healing frequency. Global microwave radiation, main cause of climate change. 5G, greater than man-made global warming, greater than eco-tax money, scam. Sign petitions. Protest, unite, get organized. Destroy 5G plans completely. Keep it below 0,01 microwatt per square meter. Skype, ProLogic 999 if you want to chat. Keep it below 0,1 microwatt per square meter. Skype, ProLogic 999 if you want to chat.
So it's 0.1, not 0.01. The advice of building biologists, but you could argue it should be 0.00.
They will make controlled, fake opposition to 5G like to themselves. One in two people will get cancer, Medscape, because of the unsafety standards created to reduce the global population. They think it's no reason for concern. They lie to you all to annihilate you all.
I wrote for concern and they somehow it reads it out as for a concern. I didn't write that. If there are any viewers, if you write something in the chat, then it will appear on the screen. YouTube censorship is on, so it is corrected if you write something that's in violation of the YouTube policy, one of these 227 forbidden words that are forbidden by YouTube, or in violation of their user policy. Basically, you could argue they're not forbidden, they just need to be avoided on YouTube to prevent a population reduction to 500 million.
5G cancer cell phone radiation heats up the environment for their eco-tax money scam, Eternal Flame.
How real.
"5G cancer cell phone radiation heats up the environment for their eco-tax money scam." I'm not yelling nor shouting. Caps lock uses the same amount of space, but it's clearer, that's why I use it unless some moderator asks me to stop. I'm a hetero pro equal rights for all people including you. The NASA video shows the astronaut dropping a plate on the moon buggy, and that is audible via the mic in his spacesuit, which is impossible on the moon. Best evidence that proves Apollo is fake. Prevent the next ice age. There cannot be sound on the moon. Apollo is totally fake, dude. The pipes are used to move the sand ! At Mars anomalies and beyond. What do you think?
I think that Apollo sounded more like Apollo this time when it was read out by the speech engine.
The moon rocks, NASA does not. Hoping on a shout out for Try Something.Vegetarian for a better timeline. Structures on the moon but no 720p cam? Do you think there is any conspiracy anywhere on Earth? At Mars anomalies and beyond. I am a conspiracy factist. Unmanned missions to Mars are fake as well, according to many sources. There are desert squirrels on Mars? Google it. Manned space travel may be impossible for 4 reasons. 1. The vacuum. 2. Space debris. 3. Extreme temperatures, -200 + 200 Celsius. 4. The 2 Van Allen belts. ISS life. So where are the satellites? Thousands of satellites? We paid tax money for? Question mark. We are on a planet called Earth, spiraling in the Norma Arum of a spiral galaxy called the Milky Way.
The Norma arm.
The nose of the plane came out the other end of the building. Perhaps it slid through between the 2 floors. It may have been a CGI even, but the explosives were real and so were the people jumping out. 9/11 was real. The explosives going off below the blast wave are clearly visible in 9/11 Let's Roll Loose Change 2nd edition in the 50th minute. Is Trump a crypto Jew? Several people think Trump is a crypto Jew. Could they be right? You could argue making a YouTube vid is proactive. Period. Know your rights. Rights can abuse Scenus beat Scanus. Donations equals love. If people use caps, it does not mean they are screaming. Nobody is. Data mining. Through the wall cancer radar show us what democracy looks like. EMP money. Stay proactive. Do healing stuff for universal peace. Opposite of reactive equals proactive. Police must be stopped, prevented from harming protesters physically. Ban non-lethal weapons. Idea broadcast on Daily Motion about Trump being a crypto Jew. Study Talmud. Epstein equals Mossad agent used to extort leaders. That street is very flat. L_L. Cannabis, space cake, wheat tea.
Legal standards. Universal peace now.
Ceasefire. Ceasefire.
The CDC did.
I'm going to create a third world war to build a temple in Jerusalem for my judgment and to reduce the global population to 500 million.
Renewable resources include solar energy, wind energy, geothermal energy, ocean energy, biomass energy, hydroelectric power. Chlorine in rocket propellant destroying ozone. How can any government seriously concerned about climate change allow for this?
And of course I have the boating emoji, the swimming emoji, and the water skiing emoji with that. So also with the WikiLeaks chat remark.
They use a neural network, synthetic telepathy, to sabotage you all and privilege themselves.
So basically the question is if people are allowed to even speak about the BDS movement on YouTube. I think there are people doing that, but not many, and that they were banned in Germany by Merkel. And some people think Merkel is Adolf Hitler's daughter. So that's covered by me in a separate broadcast. But this is my YouTube channel, of course. I think it's nicer to have some video or animated GIFs on the screen than looking at the text all the time. But there are some interesting messages, I think.
Doesn't smoking negatively affect the designer viruses in cancer chemtrails? I've weed dance. Expand your consciousness, you'll.
So of course cannabis can also be eaten, it doesn't have to be smoked. Alternative. So I think there are plenty of studies that show that smoking of tobacco increases your cancer risk. And I think that pure weed is basically too bad on my throat as well. And it also depends on whether they use chemicals. So it's best to have organic stuff. But yeah, cannabis must be legalized for all ages, because it's illegal to block a working cure from the public. And what are these people with a doctor's prescription for the use of cannabis gonna do when nothing else helps? It's also excellent for people with Parkinson's, whose hands are jittery basically. And against to cure a whole range of other diseases and symptoms. And it's better to expand your consciousness than to kill yourselves with the cancer-causing killer alcohol. But some might think, yeah, let's do that then. 10 miles an hour.
Don't turn your head into an antenna by putting the foil on your head directly. Put the foil on the outside of a baseball cap, then it shields against microwaves, not scalar waves used to do remote torture. I'd buy dead for $1, RoboCop. Sexual reward and sexual punishment are used by the controllers, the agencies, to control, enslave, people. The more sex the better. Not having sex is a waste of time, some argue. There ... dare ... and dare. This treaty.
So basically it's a word pun. Did I turn off my mic? The streety, there, dare, and air. So yeah, they sleep deprivate people, and then they can let them make stupid mistakes, etc., and have more control. So this morning I was also awakened with these specimen texts. Got me really angry. so that people can't do anything against that. They can protect themselves without a Tesla plasma shield. And then all these controlled position fakes, misleading the herd into their death. But the resistance, the real resistance, is growing because the truth is spreading, exposing the people that must be exposed, and that includes controlled opposition and others, has changed a different timeline, whether they like it or not.
The people must know to take the power back. Religion is an illusion, to quote Freud. Religion is a psychological warfare tool to annihilate you. Prayer is brainwashing yourself with lies. The more people dancing in the streets, the better.
That was basically my reaction to the straight pride parade that some people have planned. And perhaps it's also a place where singles could meet one another. But that's not the main thing. Perhaps the main thing is dancing and partying. And you could do that under any banner. So it's not necessarily the alt-right or fascists or Nazis organizing this thing, or homophobes. And I read something about that they have that guy now banned on YouTube. But PewDiePie isn't banned. I don't know if he was banned already.
I'm a hetero pro equal rights for all, including Jews, gays, lesbians, and all skin colors. We must create a perfect society. We fear change? Jesuits see themselves as the wolves and the people as the sheep. Loyola Code of ARMS has two wolves dancing around a cauldron, which is pan/pot. Dehumanization is one of the 10 phases of genocide. G of Freemasonry might not stand for Gnosis. Religion is just a cover, part of psychological warfare. Yellow Vest should protest to end all wars. Active is Sam.
And Sam has different meanings, I think, also in the military. I could Google it.
All countries with no-go zones must close their borders until the people in the no-go zones are integrated. Dutch Yellow Vest should start an international Yellow Vest movement, unite with Yellow Vest France and spread around the globe. Speak English. Positive review everyone you like. The cancer tetrapsychocops blinded numerous protesters with their grenade launchers. Ban non-lethal weapons that do irreparable damage to protesting people. Tax revolt possible if enough people join. If the gov gets tyrannical its and a python, because then paying tax money is not permitted anymore. What do you guys think? Will there be an Iran sanctions world war, third temporal world war, or two-state solution world war? Question mark. Attempt truth, be prepared. Survival is all. Past. If fight. Pass if fight. It was not Kool-Aid, not mass suicide. People in Jonestown were injected with cyanide behind their left shoulder blade. Great docu on YouTube via universapis.jimdo.com. Any military exercises in the US could become a false flag ISIS attack, WTC alike. Terror drills going live? They sabotage everything, including brain waves with synthetic telepathy. And they are so sure it was just a hiccup in their mainframe. Burp. Google and YouTube internet outage? Question mark. Exercise for WW3, kill switches. Cancer tetrapsychocops are lower in the chain of command. They work for them and not for the people. Watch out. The vacuum, Van Allen belts, space debris, extreme temperatures make manned space travel impossible. Space. That the Earth is spherical does not prove the other things flat earthers are saying are lies, though. I think everybody is totally pacified with directed energy weapons. If something happens, they organized it.
Well, I think that's not always true. And I think they might not do another false flag attack where they had an exercise at the same place, same location, and that they will become terror attacks, terror drills that go live, basically. So they might not use that anymore, but that's because it's exposed, so then they are using different methods. So yeah, watch out for these hybrid insect microelectric mechanical systems of DARPA, remotely controlled insects. And of course they can also do that without chips in their body. They don't need chips. The nano-death chippy, causing brain bleedings and heart attacks, isn't good enough. They have synthetic telepathy now, so not to worry. Total enslavement is still a possibility. And perhaps it's already a reality. Of course, nobody can escape this remote torture beam and the modification of brainwaves with synthetic telepathy as described in the Malig patent. The remote monitoring and altering brainwave machine. Brainwave monitoring and altering machine, basically, instead of apparatus to remotely monitor and alter brainwaves. So, yeah. I'm tired of not getting views and everybody isolating me. It's like they're all brain control totally. Nobody has joined my global government, my anti-global government movement, nor my flat earth, my spherical earth society. You can also call it the ball-shaped earth society. If you want to join, leave a comment. You can also join anonymously, so you don't have to give your real name. And it's also to see whether more people are anti or pro global government in reality. And the chat often reveals people's secret wish and what they think in reality about certain matters. So that can be interesting. And smart people could also warn something, write something in the chat. So I'm feeling kind of tired. The weather is so cloudy all the time. Feeling really lethargic. So I might have to think about what I'm gonna do next. So yeah, is there a way to prevent 5G from being rolled out, from being implemented? With so many scientists that have signed a petition, people that have called for a moratorium, for banning 5G, of course, because they know their health is more important than their lives. So it's simple, and it's a reproducible study that you can do at home, so that's why they can't deny it. And I think there are very few people that would deny the existence of the Talmud, that think the Talmud doesn't exist. So that's comparable. You could argue everything is energy, so everything's comparable, and perhaps we should question our reality and anything anybody says, test everything you learn. Recovery begins with non-compliance. Let's see if that's a quote of somebody. Actually, I heard that from controlled opposition David Icke. And cloudbusters are good, so I think they work, they are effective, and you can test that as well. But some people think their opinion counts, even when it kills them. Well, I don't know who wrote it originally, but I would figure that probably somebody said that before David Icke, or something similar. We either make ourselves miserable or we make ourselves strong. The amount of work is the same. 15 inspirational quotes. Well, I'm not really finding the quote as such in picture form. But that's also, I made that clear, that control the position is also saying things that the mainstream media doesn't tell us about that are true. So I'm not claiming that everything they say is a lie, or that the mainstream media is lying, that they are always producing fake news and they don't produce anything that is true. 267 psychiatry quotes. Well, that's the only occurrence of the word recovery on goodreads.com. So another thing we could wonder about is if there would be a world war for Iran, if Russia is an ally of Iran, etc. Would we be able to survive without a radiological water filter and storable food? Or what would we need to survive that then? And I think it's very well possible they've planned this world war, that the military ordered us this type of thing, and why would we expect anything else from the Jesuits and the Masons when they make history repeat itself? So I'm gonna do other things. I don't want to think about this type of thing all the time, every day. But I think that this broadcast adds another element, and well, there is progress. You can see my chat remarks have also improved, and the sun now breaks through. Was it something I said? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Tune in next time. Single ladies are welcome. Summertime is coming up. Do healing things for universal peace. Please like, subscribe, and share on your timeline, and if possible, give this video a positive review to get higher up in the YouTube algorithms. Alright.